Okay, so let's talk about the adventure. We were talking about the adventure of Harald the Vikings' visit to Norway. Now we have also we have talked about this, me and him, and he is Kyle. Friends and family, he is Kyle. Now Kyle have had a adventure since he landed in Norway, starting with a few coordinates that led to a forest in the south, and it took off from there. So I'm gonna go through the entire story when I've compiled all the necessary videos and images and stories and everything that has happened. Now I want to drop a pit stop story just for me to reflect on what's happened so far, which is nothing more, to be honest, than 2 days of traveling. If one could call it traveling, I do believe very much that that is a fitting word for this. But we figured I was gonna meet up and we're gonna visit Midgardsblot. For those who do not know what Midgardsblot is, it is the festival that changed my life. It is a Viking festival. I do not like how they have mixed it with the heavy metal and death and all that stuff because it attracts a lot of people who are looking for stuff in their life, and it's a very interesting mix of people. In some regards, maybe it's just a strike of genius. They are collecting or gathering two types of people: those people who see and those people who don't. And the people who see, they help those people who don't. And there, I have so many examples that has happened, and I will get to that. I will not get ahead of myself. The Midgardsblot is a very unique festival. It is a very interesting gathering. It starts off with a blood ceremony, a blood blot. Like blot is blood, right? So they have a blot, which is a ceremony in the Viking pagan rituals, if one would see it as that. They gather around in the name of different gods, and they have a ceremony. This ceremony was special. I heard from a friend now who is a friend, but he was a friend I've never met before, so it was good to see him again for the first time. His name is Singe. That's the story. He told me that he was sitting outside of the ceremony and he was watching it happening. People were sprayed with blood, and as this happened, two ravens flew over the site. Now, for some of you, that might not seem very significant. For others, that was pretty cool. So, me and Harold, we arrived at this magical place, and he got to see the gates of Valhalla. He got to see the mounds of the Viking kings of the past. He got to see the energy and the woods of peril that has been very changed. When I was there the first time, it was a dark hallway through a natural forest, which was different compared to now. But he was overwhelmed by the amazingness, the epicness of this place. For me, it dawned on me more and more that I was there for many reasons, because it is now to the date 8 years ago since I met my partner, my ex-partner, at that location. And to go back 8 years later, everything has happened as a pilgrimage of sorts. That was way beyond anything that I could really imagine. But we went around, we checked out the festival, we checked out all the wares created by people who are there with their own craft. And we checked out the food, we checked out the merchandise and the everything there was to see. We grabbed a few concerts. I blew the horn, yellow horn, the horn of Heimdall. Blew that, which was an experience. But everything started really with the fire. See, let's just start there. Let's start with the fire. Why this is a special fire. Why this is a legacy fire. In the most accurate way of depicting it. I have documented a little bit on the Discord server, so we can actually check this out while I'm talking about it. This is the fire when we arrived. And this was the exact spot that I was in when my life changed 8 years ago. Now this fire was lit the day before. And they had been keeping life in it. It was lit by a ceremonial, sacred practice. And using flint and rocks. So it was a very special fire. There was energy sung into it as it was being created. And just a handful of people have that amount of respect for what can happen around a fire. When we came, it was dead. When we came back after this. And we sat down. There was no people at the fire. Me and Harald, or me and Kyle, we were alone. We were sitting there and we were talking about what happens next. Where does our journey take us now? And as we were sitting there, a third person comes over. This was the person I did not know yet. He comes over, he looks at the fire, he says what he has been doing. He had cleaned up the cigarette butts. He had scraped the circle. He had made it very clean and ready. It looked amazing, and there was a little bit of firewood in the middle, ready for kindle. He comes in and he says, "Well, where's the fire?" And we were like, "Well, that's what we were wondering. Maybe we should make one." And his eyes lit up. His eyes shone like the fire itself when I said that. And we started to cooperate. Me, Kyle, and Singe, as he was later known to be named. We sat around the fire. And all three of us, we put dragon breath into it. Dragon breath is this. You're focusing the airstream. It goes straight into the fire. And with three of us doing that, magic started to happen. As we blew, the tinder or the embers grew, and we were able to get a small flame. With the small flame, the fire grew, and it took about 20 minutes, and people started to gather. A lot. It wasn't long after that we had about, I would say, 200 people around that fire. They were dancing, they were singing songs, they were drumming, they were doing a lot of awesome things. It was a lot of energy, and we knew that this fire was special. They were there just because it was a fire, but this fire was a legacy fire. It had been running from the same spark from the day before. So of course, I gave the Flame Master a spark key. You will be seeing him soon. I also met the other Flame Master. The Flame Master from the day before, the one that initiated the entire thing, and the happiness that he got when he learned that we had re-sparked the fire like that in the way we did it. I can swear there were tears in his eyes. The amount of gratitude and respect that he felt. We all felt it. I'm going to show you a few other pictures in later videos in terms of how that fire turned out, because it can't be explained. And also just in seeing it on video and images, it can't be felt. It can't be experienced. The only thing you can do is to experience it yourself, basically. But talking about the spark key, right? The spark key is, as many people know, it is the doorway or the key to the realm of the Legacy Forge. This is a spark key. I've shown that many times. Now, I did not know that on this adventure, the King of Norway would be interacting with the Legacy Forge. What do you mean, Tor? Was the king at that place? Well, yes, it depends on how you want to see it. Because the first king of Norway was called Harald Finehair. And there's a show on Netflix called Vikings. In that show, there is a character played by Peter Franson, you know, Harald Finehair. This guy. Now, what's really cool about that is that we have the spark key, but Peter Franson has signed a spark key. This has to be framed. I mean, this needs to be framed. Just because that doesn't happen every day, right? It's a special little memoriam for the Legacy Forge. After this, we were by the fire. We were feeling pretty good about everything that we've done, so we figured we should do something that Norwegians do. We should swim in the North Sea. And so we did. I was talking to Singe, and Kyle got naked, and he got into the North Sea. And not long after, I hear from the waters, "Tor, it's time for the workshop." And I'm like, "Now?" I didn't even think about, like, what kind of workshop? What are we doing? I said, "Now? Yeah, get in." And I'm like, "Singe, it's been an honor. I gotta go. I'm being called." So me and Singe, we depart, and we didn't know if we were going to see each other again. He was really struggling with this. It was like, but nah, if we're going to see each other, we're going to see each other. That's it. I'm like, yeah, I agree. And we hugged, and he left, and I didn't get all naked. I don't know why. Actually, I do know why. That's fascinating. I just got the why now. I'm not going to share it, though. That was personal. I got into the water, and the people in there had said that they saw bubbles, a lot of bubbles. They're not bubbles. They are what we call in Norway, morel, which is a bioluminescent plankton that shines blue when it is disturbed. It looks like stars under the water. I go in and I stand still, completely still, and I start to do this under the water. And I say, "Kyle, look at that." And he sees this, and he's like, "Oh, that's cool. That's cool." Right now, he's in the middle of a freaking fairy tale. And we just enjoyed it. We enjoyed the hell out of it. And I start to just float on my back, and I start to drift off, literally. I start to drift off towards England, it seemed. Like, I was far out from the coast in the middle of the night, in the middle of the sea, and I was lying with my arms over my head, so I was completely flat, with my ears under the water. And I heard something. I was listening to this. And I don't know, I could only explain it as, like, the heartbeat of the world. Or it was the heartbeat of the Midgard serpent. Who the fuck knows? Or it was whale echolocation. Or it was the reverberation of the drums from the shore. I don't know. But I was listening. It was completely silent. It was the world's biggest sensory deprivation tank. I was lying there, and I heard this. It was insane. And it became overwhelming. So I was lying there, I was just being there, and then I took a backflip in the water, and I swam underwater. And now the bioluminescent plankton is like lighting up all over my face. I was in a fairy tale. As usual. I swim into shore, and there's an audience clapping. Now that's an experience that is not really felt often. We sit in the water for a little bit more, and we experienced true gender transformation. I became a woman. With that, I mean that I did not have a penis anymore. It was cold. We come up to the shore. I get dressed. We go over to the fire. But before I did that, I blew the horn. Now, when I blow the horn, it's not just a blow. It is a full-on emptying my soul, which is interesting because it's like I'm starting to blow the horn, and I have videos on this on the YouTube channel under the what is SLS or something. I'm blowing the horn, and it just goes on, and it goes on, and it goes on, and it goes on, and it goes on, and I have full harmony, and I'm just fully in that moment, and I'm closing my eyes, and I feel like I'm drowning, kind of. I'm stopping to breathe, and I'm just keep going, keeping the tone, and I feel like I'm blacking out, and I'm starting to die a little bit, and then I die again. And it felt like I died 3 times at least. And then I was completely out of air. And I opened my eyes, and I had people around me again. Like, well done, right? And one of these people were very interested in what just happened because he had felt it a lot. So he got a Sparky, of course, because you can't say what this is in just a, yeah, this is that, and this is why blah, blah, blah. And you should just go there, you know. It's a process. It's an adventure. So he got a Sparky. And as I was getting dressed, another guy comes up and he says he was called by the horn because his grandfather had a brass horn. And this reminded him of that. So the horn had already brought people together, and we went back to the fire, and we were standing there. And people were just letting loose. And I blew the horn again. And it really fit the whole ambiance. Vikings everywhere, drums, singing, dancing, a huge ass bonfire. It was magical. The hours went by, and all of a sudden it was morning. It was now 5:30 in the morning. And me and Kyle, we don't know where to sleep. We have a tent, but it's like $300 just to sleep in the tent on the campground. We could go into the forest and just pitch it in there, but it's very dark and we're exhausted. Energy has gone through us all day, and we were like, oh my God, right? So I come up with a little idea. It would be great to have a freaking fantastic breakfast. So what about we just go on and book a hotel? And so we did. Came to the hotel. Was told that we came so late or so early, depending on how you see it, that we ate breakfast as a, midnight snack almost before we went to bed. Because of the time, we also got the room for 2 days instead of 1. And it worked out really well. Come up to the room, we took a long, warm shower. It was beautiful. The next day, I took Kyle around Tønsberg, which is I think it is Norway's oldest city. And we went around and just saw everything, and I noticed the city for the first time again. And that's where also we went to this other place that has a very large story that we were going to go into, called Mimir's Well. This is just saying in Norwegian, the well. That purple building is a dream coming true. And that is pretty amazing. I was emotional walking around in there. There is a big story there. That's why I haven't shared anything, because it had to happen first, because I have too many naysayers around me. So I have to have absolute, undeniable proof in photo, video, experience, stories, and results before I can share anything. That's why it's very fun for me to share things online, because when I do that, it's because it has already happened. And for those people who don't believe it, well, too bad. If you don't want to experience life to the fullest, that's not my problem. You know what I mean? But we went around and we had a coffee and we went back to the fire and we talked to the same people that we met the day before, and we just had an amazing time. And then we figured we should get some clothes. So we drove all the way back to the south, 4.5 hours in the car, just to head back to the bonfire tomorrow or later today. So yeah, that was a fraction of the story that has taken place. As you can imagine, it is a huge story. I think it has to take place over several days, weeks, seasons and chapters, I don't know. But I look forward to it. I really look forward to it. This week has already been transformational in ways that I could not even imagine if I tried. So, what we will do tomorrow is anyone's guess. I have no idea how it's going to plan out. I just know that it is amazing, and it's going to continue to be amazing, and it's going to continue to just blow my mind. So I can't wait to share it with those people who actually appreciates it. I woke up to a text message that changed my timeline. That is a story in itself, but it taught me a lot about the contrast of life and the cold and the hot, and there's a lot that will be shared because of this. I feel like a new man, and I know that magic is so fucking real. Just depends if you want to go out there and chase it or experience it. I have packing to do. Tomorrow is a big day. Again. And I look forward to having you all on the experiences and gatherings and everywhere. If you're not, I don't know where this video is, but as a precaution, you should get into the whole Discord server community, into the Legacy Forge right now. Because what we are about to release will change the lives of those who are there. And because it has already, right? There are many people who are already reporting insane stories that is beyond. With this, we are also scaling, structuring, and all that stuff that we have been doing for a year. I've been very open about this and said that we are doing and working and we are creating and we are tweaking and we are making sure that this experience, adventure, journey is as epic as it can be for gamifying life. And to reach that new level of freaking amazing epicness. So, right now, you should go to thelegacyforge.com/journey, thelegacyforge.com/journey, and get in. That's it. That's all you need to know. Well, you could go to thelegacyforge.com/magic also and just get a hold of all the real-time quests and adventures are displayed there. So if you wanted to get into the whole thing and see what we're talking about in this story, that has the quest card. It was the Harald one. If it is already done, if you're seeing this in the year 4960, then it's probably in the archives or wherever we have stored that now. But it is about the Kyle visits Norway, the homecoming, and the adventure. That was a good chill. Have a fantastic rest of your night, morning, day, whatever it is where you are. Forge your legacy. Take care of your freaking family. I love you. See you in the next time. See you in the next one.